It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive the free ebook written by your MedicareLady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
I'm just going to come right down here really quickly. It looks like it puts both of us on the screen. I thought I just put me, but that's okay. You'll get a taste of our next guest. You could see her there live in a tiny little box, but nobody puts baby in a corner, as a famous movie said. I think it was Dirty Dancing. Maybe she has a couple of comments about that. But I did want to let you guys know before I make us bigger and give you some more information, and we'll talk all about what you see on the screen there. What is SparkUpBiz.com? Who is Michelle Matthijs? How was SparkUpBiz born? I do want to let you know, if you do want to get that free book all about Medicare, it's on Amazon. You can get the ebook by just texting me, free ebook about Medicare. If you know someone 64 or 65, just text me, free book about Medicare at 561-302-5760. That's 561-302-5760. That's the Medicare hotline. That's my boss babe's phone number if you ever need help with Medicare. And now I'll give Tony the last words. We'll be right back.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
I have to bring us back small just to give you a little taste of who you just listened to before I make us bigger, to give Tony a little bit of attention, because he's actually a real voiceover artist with a real voice, not a bot. And you're going to love, if you like Tony and his real voiceover voice, and you know someone that has a podcast and they want an intro and outro like that, you can go to trcvoiceovers.com and check out Tony and all he does for voiceovers. We've been using him for the last 7 years, all the way through the whole pandemic. We go to him, give us a quick 20-second, a quick 30-second, instead of going to Fiverr or some other place to get a bot or a fake an AI-assisted voice over. You could try Tony. And that's all I'll say about Tony. He didn't want me to give too much promotions for him, but he does it so well. He kind of like reminds me of James Earl Jones, a nice voice. So that's all I'll say about Tony. But let's bring up our guest today. I'll make us a little bit bigger, and maybe I'll make it even bigger than that. So help me welcome Michelle Matthijs.
Like ice in a cocktail, especially on a Friday afternoon when we're doing this. We should have a cocktail with ice, right?
Yes, we do. We need a nice Matthijs cocktail. So Michelle has a very interesting business, as you saw on the screen a little bit earlier. Does this help? Yeah. This is her right here, just so you can see really quickly. That's what she looks like, all dressed up and professional. But her business, SparkUpBiz.com, is why I wanted to show that, so you guys can go to it, so you can get a head start, and you can meet Michelle at SparkUpBiz.com, the founder of SparkUpBiz.com, and we're going to learn all about that. That is really close. We could start like this. If I want us to get even closer, that's pretty close.
Like, wow, right? I'm getting big head.
I'm having too much fun. So let's start off gentle and go even more digress into the money and personal stuff, and learn about Michelle Matthijs, and maybe even Doug Matthijs and other people that know you. They could find us if they go to omgtalk.com and click on my Facebook from there at the top, or YouTube, and they could see this live stream. And even if they were in the live stream, this is what it would look like. I'll just put a sample in the comments. And then if I put show, we could feature you on the lower third on the screen there. So whoever says hi, you can get a little bit of, especially if you have a business on YouTube or Facebook as well. That's what it would look like coming from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I say about, I like to use the acronym FORM. A lot of salespeople know it, to help do one-to-one, so you don't have to pitch people when you're doing one-to-ones and tell them all about your product and then duck and leave, kind of like going to a comedy show and you say, you suck. I mean, I didn't just say that, and then duck. And I'm supposed to make this PG rated, right? But I mean, you don't want to be like a comedy show when you're a business person and say, you're terrible, and then duck into the ground and the comedian can't see you, and then you never see them again. And
We go to different comedy shows, man.
so do you do that? Do you do you heckle the comedian, or do you let the comedian heckle you?
No, I've been to a lot of comedy shows. I just sit there and listen, and if I don't like it, I get up and walk out. I'm like, yeah, I'm boring that way.
Right. Good. So you like people that make people laugh naturally by using self-deprecating humor, which is when they make fun of themselves, and we can relate to it because we've done the interesting things that they do in life.
Well, I've done enough things that I probably never want my grandchildren to know about. So yeah, I've done.
Maybe
You
we
can't
shouldn't
laugh at yourself.
we shouldn't
know?
bring up those things then now, otherwise they're going to find out, because what happens on YouTube stays on YouTube. Did you know
No.
that?
Yeah, they would actually just look at you and go, "Yeah, that's Nana." So my grandkids don't put much.
So you mentioned grandkids, so I don't even have to answer that question if you have grandkids. So if you have grandkids, maybe you have kids, maybe how many and what that's like, because we have none.
So I'm a bonus mom. My husband, Doug, who you can also meet on sparkupbiz.com. He has two beautiful daughters, and his oldest daughter has two daughters, and those are my grandbabies. And they outrank everybody else in the family. They'll tell you that too. And they'll also tell you not to mess with Nana, because Nana's a little, protective of them. So they rule the roost. They're a little spoiled. Just a little. But that's the fun of being a Nana.
Do they live nearby?
They live about 45 minutes away, so we get to see them on a fairly regular basis, and we're going to see them on Monday, so we're quite excited about that. But they're very into Spidey. I tried to brainwash them for Disney because of my background, but they're very into Spidey right now. So, yeah, I could
They're just
probably
a short Uber car away. How do you usually transport yourself to see them?
drive. It's a quick drive. Yeah.
But in your neck of the woods, having your own car is probably necessary.
Yes, neck of the woods is pretty adequate. So I live in upstate New York in the Adirondack Mountains, and they live close to Lake George or Saratoga Springs, which is pretty infamous if you've studied anything about American history, or if anyone's ever seen Last of the Mohicans. That was actually filmed in Lake George. So, yep. And Saratoga Springs, people know because of the racetrack. And it's the horse track season. And actually the Belmont, this is the last year the Belmont is being run in Saratoga. It starts in about a week or so, actually a couple weeks. I'm looking at my calendar. I'm like, wait, what month is it? But Belmont, the horse races will be going on in Saratoga in June this year. So
I don't have a bad memory of Lake George, but I almost went blind there.
How'd you do that?
We rented a speedboat on the lake, and I stood up and my glasses fell off my head. And luckily I had a spare pair in the glove compartment that wasn't the right prescription, but at least it got me home.
Yeah, that's a big lake. It's a nice sized lake. So it's beautiful up there too. And they've got the islands, and it's a pretty area. There's a lot of history up there.
I should probably put you guys in touch with my friends Daryl and Pauline that live somewhere within a half hour of there as well, in Warwick, New York.
Yep, I know.
And somewhere else. And they always talk about, I think they were just in Lake George last weekend. I could have said, hey, go. Maybe I should make them go when you sit at the car show coming up in September.
That is my husband's holy grail weekend of the year. It's the Adirondack Nationals car show. It is the weekend after Labor Day every year.
Oh, you should save that for the R of form.
Oh, okay.
Because that's like recreation. You could probably give us 3 hours of information for that. I don't know if anybody would stay on for that, but if somebody wants to cancel Netflix, you're in the right place at the right time. You could binge watch this show for 10 hours.
Well, yeah, no, if Doug were on talking about car show weekend, you could be here all weekend talking about it. I don't know anything about cars. I push the button and it turns on. Yeah. But
and thank God it does, right?
Yeah, thank God. Knock on wood. Thank goodness. But yeah, no, he's raised his girls and he grew up in a car culture. So for him, I know we're skipping around on the farm thing, but for him, that's huge to him and his girls. So they love. So the old, I think the youngest car in the car show is a 1979 car. So they've got everything from muscle cars to the old classics to you name it, rat rods and all sorts of stuff. My only job there is to save them a spot, so they can come sit down and take a break and watch the cars cruise through the village in the evening and during the day. Otherwise, I sit there. I literally read a book the entire weekend. And they come and visit me. But yeah, if you like car shows, if you like those classic cars, come and get it. And at nighttime on Friday and Saturday night of that weekend, they shut the village down, and the cars just cruise. And my grandbabies love it because they get candy, because some of the people that are in the show will throw candy to the kids. So that's their favorite part. But it's quite loud. So for the kids, I'm seeing you with your headset on. They have the ear mufflers on because it's so loud because of the cars. A lot of burnouts done.
I think I found the perfect layout for us where I can feature you, and then I have about Spark Up, and then I'm just over here directing the conversation like a nice little conductor.
There you go. Do you have a baton?
They say, here you go.
There you go.
It's a bic. On that note, I had a hammer for our gavel too this morning.
Ooh, there you go.
It's a real gavel. You can get it from the Toastmaster website.
Look at you, Mr. Fancy.
Somebody gave it to me for... Anyway, they say that people have 11 different occupations throughout their working years. We usually work for 45 or 50 years, and some of us retire sooner than others. And some have like one job for their whole life. Usually the people that are older than us had that one job for their whole life, and others have had up to 11 different careers. How many careers are you up to so far?
I was counting. So I started working when I was 14 years old. I worked for the caterer at the time in Saratoga. And then I did my college internship. I worked for this you probably never heard of it. I worked for this little place called Walt Disney World in Orlando for about a decade. Probably never heard of it. It's not very well known. No? Yeah.
It rings a bell.
Yeah. I worked there for about a decade. That's why I have like Stitch I'm trying to figure Stitch right there in the background. He's my spirit animal. He's a little bit mischievous, just like me. And then I came up back to New York. I was still working in hotels because I was in hospitality for years and years. And then I was a drug rep for Big Pharma. Then I worked.
That's different than a drug dealer.
Yeah, no, my father was the drug dealer. He was the pharmacist. We used to tease him about that as a kid. No. And then I went to work for a company called Grainger, which is very well known in the industrial side of things. I loved it because I got discounts on power tools and stuff. And
okay.
I was, you know what? It's actually a funny story. When I was hired in, I'd been laid off, and I was given 6 different job offers in 1 week, and one was for this company named Grainger. And the gentleman called me up. His name was Matt. He's like, "This is the last," because I was playing the offer letters. I was laid off for 6 months. I got all these offers in 1 week. I was taking the offer letters and I was playing off to see who, I could get the biggest salary from. And he called me up. He's like, "I can't go any higher than this." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Tell me about your company again." He goes, "You don't even know what we do you?" I'm like, "I just know I'm selling something. I can sell anything." He's like, "Good to know." And then he's like, "This is really making me uncomfortable." I'm like, "Again, I can sell anything. Tell me about your company and why you like working for him." So he goes on and on and on. I'm like, "Wait, you sell power tools?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Do I get a discount?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Man, you should have just led with that." He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No." So I got some really nice tools while I worked there. And I live in upstate New York. One of my favorite purchases was actually a heated jacket. So I love my heated jacket for winter. But I worked for Grainger, And
So
then
you put that in your profile when you were dating and you found Doug. Did you put like, if you like power tools, you have found the right place or the holy grail?
no, but actually there was a tool component. Okay, so when I went through my divorce, someone set me up on Match, and when they let me have control of the profile, I think the header was DeWalt, Milwaukee, Bosch, and Makita. What's your preference? Because it says a lot about you. So,
You like cheap stuff or do you like good quality power tools?
yeah. Or do you think so it tells you can go into someone's shop and really, tell if they're like a dabbler or if they actually will, have good quality stuff, how long they've had their stuff. Yeah.
Hey, can we
I-
interrupt this bulletin and you tell us, talking about quality power tools, could you throw it out of nowhere? She doesn't even know where we're going to go any of this time. That's what you get when you get two talky people
Yeah.
in one podcast. But if you could tell us what kind of power tool, if Spark Up Biz was a power tool, how would you rate that? Is it like Milwaukee or all those other names you just said? In the terms of the social media for businesses, doesn't businesses deserve a good power tool that could help bring them ROI for their business
Well, it's
versus
about
just buy a saw and or a hammer and hammer at everything and everything's a nail? Maybe Spark Up Biz is the power tool people are looking for. What do you think?
well, that's a good analogy actually. Or we could even do a car one, like it's the Cadillac or the Rolls Royce of networking, or it's like having it's having a good. So I have to ask you, Paul, as we go into power tools, you're bringing in, what's your favorite power tool brand?
You know what? I am a Jewish handyman, so my favorite power tool would be the one where I can get rid of all the, because my grandfather actually worked on Grumman buses and Edo aircraft,
Okay.
and he put together aircrafts and buses, and he had all these tools. And I have a box of all these tools that I have no idea what I should use them for. I
Okay.
know some of them have come in really handy because nice racket wrenches.
Okay, so I'm not talking to you about tools. Okay, let's go back to Spark Up Biz and how it can help businesses. So, honestly, it would be, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for a tool. It would basically be the toolbox. It wouldn't just be the tool, it would be the toolbox because it gives so many tools to businesses to grow. So, I think I like that analogy actually, because when it was developed, it actually came out of a frustration that I was having for my business because I live in the woods. And for me to network, it's expensive. I would have to first get up and go someplace. And for me to go someplace, it's going to be at least 45 minutes for me to get to a networking event or a referral group, or, they're expensive. And the chambers of commerces are wonderful organizations. I'm not going to say they're not, but for a small business, they're also rather expensive to belong to at times. And then you're having to pay for the events. And then sometimes the events are not convenient for your schedule. And then I belong to a referral group, and I spent a lot of money on being part of that referral group, and I definitely didn't get the ROI back. The people that were there were phenomenal, but I just didn't get the ROI back. So I was getting frustrated by that. So then I went online, and you had mentioned a website that you were doing networking on a little while ago. I was on there as well, and then they changed their rules and their subscription fees, and we had a little bit of a disagreement because I had started a group on there. You joke with me when you and I talk about Boss Babes, which I started a group on there called Boss Babes Networking. And I tend to be a mama bear, and I was getting frustrated on not only my behalf, but on the behalf of the women that belong to my women's networking group. So I was venting to someone that I had met one day doing a consulting job. And he just looked at me. His name's Matt. And he looked at me and goes, if you could design the perfect platform for you to network on, what would you build? So I went, oh, that's a long list. And he goes, all right, make the list. So the following week we got together, and Matt is a programmer, and he looked at me and goes, we can build this. So that's what Spark Up Biz is from. He owned his own business. He had some of the same frustrations. So we took everything we liked and wanted and wished for and put it on this list. And then everything that we really didn't like and all of the roadblocks that small businesses and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and salespeople face every day. And we got rid of all of that. So that's really, we think it's the best of all the worlds, honestly, Spark Up Biz. So it's a social media platform for businesses to go, but there's no algorithms to compete. Everything that's posted on there is from a live person doing it. So every post, comment, like, conversation, message you get on there is from a real person. Bots can't get into the AI, can't program into it. Outside programs can't just constantly dump into the feed.
You mentioned algorithms. Could you touch upon what is that for the lay person, for the not lay person? There's no algorithms whatsoever on SparkUp.biz compared to what is the algorithms on Facebook or LinkedIn all about?
Okay, so Facebook and LinkedIn have what's called, in programming speak, and I'm not a techie person. Basically, for the people that have no tech speak, they have an open plug in the wall. So any programmer can come in and take their plug and put it into the outlet, which is their platform, and they can just keep putting stuff into the program. So when you're going into Facebook and LinkedIn and some of these other social media platforms, because they have what's called an open API, you can program into that feed if you have the correct tool or the correct program, and you can dump 100 posts a day if you want. You could do more than that as a business. The other thing is the people that you're connected to and the people that you interact with the most are going to show up on your feed more than, say, John Doe that you only interact with once a year. They may not show up if they're posting every day. They may not come up on your feed. There's so much noise going in there from your connections, but then they also have to pay for the platform, which I understand, owning this company now. So they do a ton of advertising. And so LinkedIn is free for a lot of people. So is Facebook, because all of this advertising is paid for. But you might pay for an advertisement, but it doesn't get a huge audience. And it says it does, but there's some debate about whether that's realistic or not. And if it's getting in front of the right people, even no matter how you program the advertising. And, you're spending so much money on advertising and then you're getting very little return. And then the other part of that is there's so many things that are being dumped in that feed that are irrelevant to you.
I'm hearing that the advertising is really better suited for the bigger company than the smaller mom and pop businesses.
Yeah, if you're a smaller business, even if you're, say, less than 100 employees, okay, you would have to spend an inordinate amount of money to be seen enough to be effective on some of those platforms. Because the big companies, if you go to a huge, like Pepsi or Coca-Cola, and I'm just using them for studies, you don't see very many of their advertisements on LinkedIn. But those are huge companies. They have the money to dump into an advertising campaign that would actually get everyone's notice. Most small businesses don't. So, your message tends to get lost, especially if you're a business coach and it's just you and maybe 5 people, or if you're an accountant and maybe you have 20 people in your accounting business. So those smaller businesses it's harder for them to get seen in a platform like that. And with everything that's going on with SEO, which is search engine optimization, and all the constant guidelines, and now AI and all of this stuff, the messages are getting lost for smaller businesses and all of the noise that's out there. So those algorithms are basically how Facebook and LinkedIn and these other platforms decide who sees your message. And basically it's who's paying the most.
Now, Facebook has business pages and profiles, but SparkUpBiz.com is geared toward the small business owner with $10 million in revenue and less.
It is geared towards businesses of all sizes. So, and it's not just business owners, it's salespeople, it's anyone who's in business that needs to network or spread their message to grow sales, or to come and get ideas and teach or be educated, exchange ideas, maybe mastermind. We've really built the platform to meet as many of those needs as possible. So you can sign up for free and you can get it. You can connect with as many people as you want on the platform. You can have one-on-one messaging. You have a complete profile. You can put social media links. You can put a booking calendar link on there, and you can network for free. We wanted to make it affordable for businesses of all sizes. So our base membership is $20 a month, but I'll go back to the free one. We also have daily free networking, because one of the things the platform is a little bit different with is we have a live networking room that's open all the time. And all of our groups have a live chat room. And the groups, you can also video chat in those groups. So you host a coffee hour for us every Thursday morning, and you have a Toastmasters group going on Friday, and you can do that within your group chat room. So those groups are their own little world. Basically, they have their own feed, they have their own events calendar, they have a forum. So there's a lot. Those groups can be locked, or they can be hidden, they can be open. So a lot of things can be done in those groups, and again, that's part of the benefits of the platform. So companies can come in and make their own group. They can, if it's a coach, they can make a public group and maybe have coffee hours with some of their followers. And if they have paid members that want to have a coffee hour with them once a week, they can have another group that's locked. And
since there's no algorithms, you mentioned to me earlier in conversations, Eventbrite and Meetup and other places that you're using to assist with marketing to build up the audience for SparkUp Biz. Is there anything you want to touch upon, what the members could do, or what else you're doing to help make the audience even more appetizing to the newer person? Or you have also a program to help do some revenue sharing to help build the platform bigger and have mutual interests?
Yeah. So the Network Infernos are hosted by me every Monday and Wednesday. Those are advertised on our LinkedIn social media page, our Facebook media page, Instagram, Meetup, Eventbrite. So we're trying to bring people in for a networking conversation and then asking them to continue the conversation on SparkUp Biz. So we also have the coffee hours that are almost every day. So you can network for those, and that's all levels. Even the free levels can join the coffee hours and network that way. And then the program that you mentioned is called the Trailblazer program. So we're a small startup. We have a program that basically wants to grow the engagement on the platform. So our Trailblazers agreed to share their own business on our platform and start networking and growing their network on SparkUpBiz.com. And then we ask that they like and share us on the other social media channels once or twice a week. And in exchange for that, there is a revenue share, and we start paying out when we reach certain criteria of paid memberships. So there's a chance of making some really great money once we grow larger. But the payouts are for life, because Matt and I, who own the company, we believe that if you're going to help us grow, that you deserve to be rewarded for that. We also have an affiliate program. So if you're an affiliate, you can have a coupon code, or you can use your link, and you can receive a percentage of any paid membership that comes in. So we don't believe in you promoting our business, but if you would like to share it and be rewarded for doing so, we would love that, because we want to see this platform grow. We want it to do it in an authentic way. So there's a ton of other features that we haven't even talked about, like the Academy or the Marketplace or the Jobs Board. So there's a lot of different things that we have on that platform. We are going to be starting referral groups. So if you want that soul industry seat to a referral group and build those relationships, we're going to have those as well. And it's going to be $30 a month base. So that's not bad for belonging to a referral group. That means
who's going to be running the referral groups? Yourself or other leaders, or how does that work? Or more revenue sharing for the person?
Yeah, we have other leaders that are going to be leading those referral groups. We will not start a group or even charge for a group until there's 10 members in a group, because that's just good sense. We want to make sure you get the most out of it, but the group leaders will actually get a discount as well for doing that. And basically, to be a group leader, you just meet with me and I try to make sure that you're not crazy like you. Just kidding. But yeah, so we're growing, and we want to grow, and we want to make it so other businesses can grow, because everyone deserves to be able to grow their business without getting tromped on by the big companies, because this country business is really built by the small companies.
You just have to be careful about the big bad wolf. Not that I'm the big bad wolf, but I did finally meet Little Red Riding Hood just now. She's the girl see that picture down below. I'm meeting Little Red Riding Hood right now. She has a nice little red outfit, and Doug will tell me more about it. On that happy note, have you ever heard of this little coin here I'm picturing at the bottom there? It's a Tuit. Have you heard of a Tuit?
No.
A Tuit. It's round, and it's a Tuit. And when you have a round to it, you can go to sparkupbiz.com and help grow your business. Now you have a round to it.
Okay, now I get it.
I have a little coin, that's it, but I can't give you the coin physically itself, so I'm giving it to you through the screen to our listeners, because, I mean, I don't have to give the round to it to you because you birthed not physically, the sparkupbiz.com. What month are we in, or it's past 9 months for sparkupbiz.com, or are we?
Yeah. We're about a year out of alpha and beta, so we really want this platform to take off. And you know what? Let's give your listeners a perk. So our base membership starts at $20 a month, but I believe your coupon. I believe we have a coupon code Entrepreneur. So if you use the coupon code Entrepreneur, they can get $10 off for the first 3 months of their subscription. And then they can get those upgraded features of being a Spark member. And Sparks, there's a lot of stuff that's involved in that. So, but if your listeners would like to join us for $10 for the first 3 months, they can just put the coupon code Entrepreneur in.
So there's a spot where you could put in the coupon code.
Yep.
When I go to sparkupbiz.com and I put it on the screen there, Entrepreneur, the way it's spelled there,
yep,
is the coupon code for a break in the price. $10
yes.
Off, I think you said?
$10 off for the first 3 months. So it would make it a $10 membership for 3 months. And then it would raise to 20. But they'll be able to get in. They'll be able to chat with people. They'll be able to network with people. They can put their profile up. Our profiles are a little bit different. It asks, what they do, what makes their business so special. And because it is a networking platform, two of the questions that it asks is, what would be a good referral for you? Because I don't know what your business is necessarily, and you don't necessarily know what my business is. So what would a good referral look like for that person? And then what would a good referral partner look like for that person? The whole platform is designed to build relationships between business people, not just be, a pitch slap of, here, this is everything I do with my business, work with me. I think you're seeing that on a lot of other social media platforms that work with businesses. You're seeing so many messages that are coming into your inbox that have nothing to do with what your business is actually, about, or what you actually do. This is actually to build those relationships. So I might never do business with Jane Doe, but 2 weeks from now, I might run into someone that would be a perfect prospect for that, for Jane. So it's to build those relationships and get to know each other, to help give advice and help, lift each other up in business. And I've learned so much from the people that I have met through sparkupbiz.com and through the different networking events. I love learning new things, and it's insane some of the things I've learned through this. So it's a really great platform just to come together and share what you do and learn about what others do, and hopefully we can all build our businesses.
Tell us one thing from the Academy section on sparkupbiz.com that somebody might want to go to right away.
So the Academy is open for Spark members or higher, and the Academy we envision to be a place where you can go learn or teach. And so you can go learn a new business skill. So there are some courses that are already in there. There's a business law course that highlights all the information you would get in a business 101 course. We did that as an example. Then there's also things like what is payment processing, or how do you network in a live event. So there are things that you can go and you can click, and there are videos and classes that you can take, and that's open to all Spark members or higher. The highest level membership that we have can actually contribute coursework into the Academy, and you can tease a little bit. So for example, you could go in and teach, some Medicare information, and then put a link to a lead generator for your business saying, if more information or to work with us, click here, because the whole purpose of networking is to bring attention to your website, to bring attention to your business, and to grow your business. So we want to give you those tools to be able to put posts up that link to your websites, put posts up that link to your videos. That's the whole purpose of us going online and spending money and time investing in networking, events and platforms and things. It's to grow our business. So we want to give you as many opportunities to do that. But we also understand that some businesses don't necessarily know if they should be filing for an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp. So you can go and learn that maybe in the Academy. And then again, coaches could go in and, tease like maybe 20 minutes of a 2-hour program that they want to sell. And that after that first 20 minutes, for more information or for the complete, program, click here, and it could bring them to a checkout page on their own website. So the whole platform was really designed to create lead generation, create conversations with real people, not bots, not AI, not programs just dumping stuff in.
So tell us, I like the idea that you have your membership levels based on a cooking stove or a campfire, and it starts with an ember is just some kindling wood, and it's just barely getting warm. It's just a spark. Oh, hence the name sparkupbiz.com. So if somebody's looking to boost their business and turn up the heat a little bit, I think that you'll like the ease into their system. Bonfire, I think, is the highest one where the heat is really on high. Do you know what the temperature is to boil water? Is like 212 degrees.
Yeah, we start at Ember, we go to Spark, we go to Fire Builder, and then we go to Bonfire. And most of our stuff, it's sort of become a joke, like, okay, what can we theme now with fire? Which you've met my husband, Doug. I joke that he's a pyro. So he builds really great campfires and has almost burned a couple things down that he shouldn't have. But so we joke that he is like the main pyro. So we have the Trailblazers. We have fire circle referral groups that we're building. We have igniters and things like that. So everything is fire themed. And we created, because we're like, we need to spark up some business, and we're like, ooh. So that's really where it came from. And then we're just having fun we have senses of humor. So you'll see a little tongue in cheek with some of the stuff that comes out.
It sounds like a good Indian name, Senses of Humor.
Senses of humor.
Yes.
We do have to have a good time. So, yeah.
So I think that this site, sparkupbiz.com, seems more fired up than a lot of other social media pages that maybe are getting dull and boring, and maybe you should check out sparkupbiz.com for sure.
Well, we would love it if they do. We, again, Network Infernos are on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you're a little bit nervous to come into Spark Up Biz, you can find that on our LinkedIn page. You can find it on our Facebook page, Eventbrite, and Meetup. I will joke with you that Fired Up Biz was actually one of the original names that we were thinking of. And we had bought the .com and we're like, it just doesn't sound right. So then we switched to Spark Up Biz. Yeah.
Excellent. I didn't know if I should switch to the recreation category because you have so much good information, even that might apply to somebody listening. When you were sitting around during your husband's passion and you planted yourself at a bar stool, and while he was busy doing the car thing, and you probably met so many people that way, you should probably just put a sign, or maybe you should have those those plastic paper menus you put on the place setting at diners.
There you go.
Have some of those at that car show. How expensive could they be? Those little cheap pieces of paper.
You never know, because when we first started going to the car show, you have to book the hotel a year in advance, and everyone goes to the same hotel. You go to the same hotel year after year. I would have to work because we get there for Thursday. I would have to work Thursday and Friday. So I would sit if you had your choice of sitting in a hotel room working or sitting out at a pool bar overlooking Lake George on a sunny day, I'm going to choose that. So I would set up year after year at the pool bar, and people would start stopping in and just saying hello to me during the car show. So it's sort of funny. I do read a book, but people that know me will literally stop. They're like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And they'll stop in and we'll chit chat. So yeah, it's fun.
Now, when you're not doing sparkupbiz.com and you're not chasing your grandkids and you're not writing down extra to-do lists for your husband to do more stuff around the house, do you have any recreation activities? Maybe in the summer and winter might be different things. I don't know if you have a garden, or do you plant tomatoes over there coming up in the summer, or do you have any other hobbies you like to do? This is the recreation phase of the word form.
I love to cook. My husband will tell you I love to cook. I like to entertain my family. I honestly work a ton. My favorite thing, I have to say, and this is, again, fire theme, my favorite way to spend an evening is sitting around the campfire in our backyard. And that's just, for me, relaxation. We'll go on hikes. We'll go on drives. I love going on a drive through the mountains. You never know what you're going to find. Spending time with friends. Spending time with grandbabies. Yeah.
So when you have a large area where you live, does that mean you don't need to get out and go camping somewhere else because you have plenty of land to do it on where you are?
Yeah, I don't need to camp. No, I don't need to be in. I grew up tenting, so I don't need to be in a tent. I'm in nature, so yeah, I can walk out on any given night and see a herd of deer in the back of my yard. So, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And we're not too far away from a major lake, so.
Lake George?
Actually, we're closer to Sacandaga Lake.
Come again? Could you say that again?
Sacandaga.
Sacandaga?
Yeah, that's the name of the lake. It's actually a reservoir, fun fact. And it's a reservoir that they flooded the valley, a huge valley back in the 1800s to create it. But it's a huge reservoir lake, and it's used for recreational. There's tons of houses there, but it's about 10 minutes away from us.
Now, here's one of my favorite questions, and it's in the M category. I could go a couple of different ways with it. Usually people think of money for the last one. Like, maybe you think it's important, or you have a certain number in mind for a goal or a dream. But I like to start with M for motivation, and you could pivot or segue as much as you like. But the one question I used to ask for the 200 original podcast guests was, what motivates you to jump out of bed every day? My wife is going to hate me for asking that question because I did this for 200 people, and you could just see her in the car. She's like, what motivates you to jump out of bed every day?
So, okay. So for me to you're asking what my why is, basically.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
So my why for doing Spark Up Biz and for getting up and doing work is to provide for my family and to give them blessings, because I want to build a future for my family. But Spark Up Biz is two parts: to do that for my family, but it's also to help businesses grow, because I own my own business. I owned it before I owned Spark Up Biz and before we started it. So I want people to succeed. I know how hard it can be to get the word out for your company or for your business or for what you're trying to sell. And I know the roadblocks that you can hit. And I just want to help people get away from that, because I think that if we put something out there that is easy and affordable and accessible to everyone, that gives them tools to grow, then everyone should be able to grow their dream. I actually joke once in a while that, everyone has their own freak flag to fly when it comes to their business. There are some people I've met over the years and they have a business. I'm like, I don't quite see the vision. I don't quite see how it would work, but it's your passion. So go, it's going through my head. I'm like, it's your passion. Go for it. I want everyone to have the tools to pursue whatever their passion is. Professionally, so they can all have those blessings. So that's my why. But my why is my grandbabies. It's my husband knows that. He's like, you know what? If she don't get grandbaby time, it's not going to be pretty. So that's my why. It's to help other people grow their businesses so they can find their passions, and for me to spend time with my family.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to only make sense to you because it's your why, right? Because whys are an individual thing. Maybe somebody's why is just to get a new dishwasher, but maybe somebody's why is to figure out how much money they need to be able to be financially independent without having to rely on anybody else for their monthly income and their nut, which without even having to get into a whole financial thing, which I can do a whole seminar on that. This is kind of all about you. It definitely is all about you. But do you know, just out of a curiosity, how much money do you think, not just your typical person, but Doug and Michelle, not to get too personable, but how much money do you think people need or should aim for to be financially independent in their pot of gold? Is that too personal of a question to ask, or you could stop me here or segue?
I don't think there is a definitive number. I think it depends on the person and depends on what their lifestyle they want.
That's the bingo thing right there, is the lifestyle, right?
If someone is comfortable in a 10 by 10 shack and that to them is their, heaven, it's going to be a lot different between someone who expects to have like a 12,000 square foot house with
a country club and a boat.
Yeah.
Elmer Fudd lifestyle. I own a mansion, a yacht, and a whatever he had.
So my idea of heaven, and my husband laughs, I'm like, as long as I can have a campfire and enjoy a campfire and a glass of mama juice once in a while, I'm good. Everyone's healthy, all the bills are paid, and I have a glass of mama juice around the campfire. It's good. So I don't think there's a definitive number, as long as you're not worried about paying the $78 for the gas tank that I had to pay this week. That number, there's not a definitive number for anybody.
Okay. Well, great.
On that note, it's whatever your bliss is. It's whatever you want out of life and your lifestyle. So
we'll digress with that in later future conversations. But I was curious to hear where you were going to pivot and go with that. We did did family, we did some occupation. You told us a little bit about what you did before. Is there anything else, like a particular business that you wanted to touch upon that maybe you do for a little bit of bread and butter while we're building sparkupbiz.com, that you wanted to get out there a little bit to the listeners?
So I started networking for my payment processing company, which I've started off a few years ago in the high risk markets. But we relaunched actually as Spark Up Biz Services because my business, the company pivoted. We started offering more and more business services. So if you go to Spark Up Biz and add services.com, I offer business services from payment processing to consumer financing to business financing to CRM and marketing and payroll and HR, and it's white glove service. And because of the background of the company, we are a little bit different, where most payment processors and business service companies only have one supplier. We actually work with a multitude of them, so we can find the best program and the best rates for the customer based on their needs. So yeah, again, it's all about helping customers grow their business. So I just continued it on a networking platform and, created a universe where I would want to network my business myself. So come join me.
It certainly is very convenient. So you meet a lot of small businesses then, is your primary market is small businesses. Do you know the statistic of how many small businesses have no retirement plan whatsoever?
A lot, especially the smaller ones.
Like 40 million or something.
Yeah, especially the smaller ones. The smaller they are, the lesser chance they have. But yeah.
So there's so much help that they need for sure. I mean, if they want to live in a bigger than a shack, like you just mentioned before.
And now we have people that we can refer to for Medicare and for, financial planning and all sorts of stuff. So
yes. So is there any last thoughts that you want to wrap up and say anything that you didn't say, or is there like a phone number for your business, or do people have to find you on sparkupbiz.com or other methods to find you?
If they're trying to call Spark Up Biz, they can call 1-800-399-6086. But honestly, just show up on sparkupbiz.com and you can find all of us. If you're looking for Spark Up Biz services, we have a phone number, but again, go Spark Up Biz services and you'll connect with us. Our phone number and all our contact information's there. But if the parting comment is, if you want to have real conversations about your business and get the message out without getting it hidden in all the noise and all the bots, come to Spark Up Biz and check it out.
Excellent.
So
as a wrap up, which I think my picture froze a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I could unfreeze it a little bit if I choose a different picture, perhaps, or maybe it's just my Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're just
okay.
frozen.
All right, so you can hear me. So it looks like I'm a still image. While I'm doing the wrap up, I'll just keep my still image there while I'm talking, and people could see you moving. But we've been talking with Michelle Mattice, living close to the Lake George area in the Adirondack Mountains in upstate New York, way upstate, which is still at least over 1,000 miles from where I'm at right now. I'm getting a private chat. Oh, okay. That was you. I don't know how long ago that message was sitting there, but I hope it wasn't too long. So we're wrapping up right now. We're just going to play our outro of Tony to remind people about Tony, the great voiceover guy, and also Your Medicare Lady will be the sponsor for this podcast. Let's play her and then wrap up. So see you guys all on sparkupbiz.com.
Thank you so much.
It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive the free ebook written by yourmedicarelady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein. You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
Well, we just wrapped up another podcast. We were just talking with Michelle Mattice at sparkupbiz.com. We learned so much about sparkupbiz.com. You're definitely going to want to head on over there. I have a special coupon code. If you enter this coupon code, entrepreneur is the coupon code at sparkupbiz.com. So the coupon code, pay attention, is entrepreneur at sparkupbiz.com. Have a great evening and have a strong end and not a weekend. It's a great, I read that, I think, in a Zig Ziglar book, is you must have a strong end and never a weak end. People fight for the weekends. But TGIF, they say, thank God it's Friday. Well, thank God it's Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.